Hey, what's up? Hello. If you're new here, my name is Kayla, and you are currently watching Kayla's Bookish Vibes. I thought I would kick off a little bookish vlog. I don't know what we're gonna do in this vlog, but I'm gonna bring you along with me during my week as I do all things book related. And first, I wanted to show you the first thing on our list, our Book of the Month box. I am subscribed to Book of the Month, and I have been for a little while. Typically when I pick my Book of the Month books, I always just get the thrillers because I have stopped buying thrillers. Thrillers are not something that I typically reread, so I realized that buying them was just like a waste of money because I'm never going to reread them, and those are always the books that I unhaul. So I decided I'm not going to like go out of my way to buy thrillers. However, I did just come back from the Dollar Tree and I bought thrillers. But those are only $1.25, and we'll get to those. Anyway, as I was saying, typically my Book of the Month picks are the thrillers, that, like whatever thrillers they have. But this month, since it's February and it's Black History Month, they seem to have a better selection as far as diverse books. Now, if you're looking for diverse picks, Book of the Month sometimes has them. They're just not super consistent with the diverse picks. So this month shocked me a little bit. The original Book of the Month pick that I got was The Mayor of Maxwell Street. This is on my list of like anticipated books that I'm really looking forward to coming out in 2024. And when I saw that, I immediately clicked add to cart. I was gonna buy this book anyway, but since it was my Book of the Month pick, I was like, why not use my credit to buy that? So love it. Can't wait to read this book. The next book I got is an add-on. I never do add-ons for Book of the Month, but I decided I was going to do one this month because of this book. It's called Neighbors by Diane Oliver. Neighbors and Other Stories, my bad, by Diane Oliver. Get into this cover. This book was written by someone who died in 1966 at the age of 22, leaving behind crisp and often chilling tales that follow various characters as they navigate the day-to-day perils of Jim Crow America. This is the first and only collection by a masterful storyteller, finally taking her rightful place in the canon of 20th century African-American literature. So excited. This book sounded like the perfect picks for Black History Month, and I had to have it on my shelf. So I'm so glad that I did. These were my 2 Book of the Month picks. That was exciting. And then their bookmark. It always comes with a bookmark. Was it something I read? There's that. Now, the books that I got from the Dollar Tree, I always peruse the book section in the Dollar Tree. They never really have anything that I'm interested in, but this time I had 3 books, and you can't beat $1.25 for a book. You can't beat it. So I'm always like really disappointed when I walk away not finding anything. But this time I found 3 really good books. The first book I found was a Christmas book. It's a Christmas romance, and I know you're probably thinking we are not in Christmas, and we're not. But Christmas will have to come around again, and when it does, I'll be prepared. This is only $1.25. It's called Christmas in Evergreen. Bells Are Ringing, based on the Hallmark Channel original movie. So it's probably going to give, obviously, it's going to give the Hallmark vibes, by Lacey Baker. And then there's 2 more books that I found. Now, these are both thrillers. The first book is called Did I Say You Could Go? I love the cover on this. You can't tell, obviously, but like the little water specks are very textured. They're like raised, and it feels really good in the hand. Anyway, this is by Melanie Gideon. Promise We'll Be Best Friends Forever. So this book is about like 2 women who meet, and one woman becomes really obsessed with the other one. So you have to ask, like, is this a friendship or is this an obsession? Sounds like it's going to be really good. Can't wait to read this one. And then the next one is called Friends Like These. Sounds like it's also going to be another friendship book, but a group of friends. So it says 6 college friends have reunited for a glamorous weekend a decade after a fatal accident that nearly destroyed them. And then I believe that they all get picked off one by one, and we have to figure out what's going on. So 2 friendship thriller novels that I'm excited to read. I feel like those always make really good novels, like friendship / obsession type deal. So I guess that was the little haul, the little bookish haul that we started off this vlog with. Right now I'm about to get into the book that I'm currently reading on my Kindle. I was sent this book by a publishing company called Black Odyssey, and the book is called Flames of Wrath by J.L. Campbell. I believe this book is published. Like, I don't believe it's an advanced reader copy. I do think that you can purchase this book now. I will put the cover on the screen because it's just on my Kindle in black and white. In this book, we are following a mom who is seeking revenge. So there was a group of college students who went to spring break in Montego Bay, Jamaica, and they were having a good time until they were no longer having a good time. And one of the young ladies on the trip ends up getting severely beaten by her group of friends and left for dead. This really reminds me of the Shanquilla Robinson story that happened not too long ago. However, in this book, the young lady survives, even though she's like placed in the hospital under like a medicated induced coma. Her mother, though, is having no games. Like, she's playing no games with the kids who put her child in this bed, and she is seeking revenge on each and every one of them. I love me a good story that has like a morally gray character. It's like what they're doing is wrong, but you feel like it's justified. You as the reader feel like they're justified in their decisions that they're making. But then like it starts to turn into like, are they really justified or are they going overboard? But when they say mama bears don't play about their cubs, this mama bear does not play about her cubs. I really want to finish it today. I don't know if I'll be able to. I'm about to put all my books away because I just finished filming my romance recommendations video. So I need to put all my books back on their shelves. And then I'm going to get nice and cozy with my ice cream and my book, and we're gonna go read. Guys, it's a new day. It's actually the next day, and we are heading to our local indie bookstore. So excited. It's my birthday this month. It's my birthday month. My birthday falls in this month. So hubby has been taking me to get books like all month. Honestly, we've been to Barnes & Noble a few times, and obviously we have to come to our independent bookstore. We really love this bookstore. It's so cute on the inside, so I thought I would take you along with me. There's husband. And we brought the kids today too. Typically they like to get 1 or 2 books. This bookstore has a really good selection of everything. It's super diverse. Lots of children's books, adult books, YA books, fantasy, all the genres. As diverse as you could possibly be in a bookstore. So I'm super excited to bring you along with me. Let's go. I'm trying not to do too much damage in here, but I can't be held liable for what I find. I think we found our first book. This was the perfect time to come to this bookstore because it's literally empty, and I think I will never come to this bookstore again unless it's on a Sunday in the morning. It's empty in here and it's so peaceful. I forget whenever I go too long without coming here, like the wide selection of books that they have. There's so many books that I don't see anyone talking about, books that I would love. It's so diverse. I know I'm always bound to find a book by a Black author very easily. And not just like the new books, but the old books, the books that I have on my wish list, on my TBR. Like, I freaking love this bookstore, and I really need to start coming here more often. Lolly the Worm? Lolly the Worm? I loved this little worm when I was a kid.
Wait, was that a movie?
It was in a book and in a cartoon. I guess there was also a show. His name was Lolly, I think. I'm pretty sure his name was Lolly the Worm. And he rode in a little apple cart.
What?
Yeah, he drove an apple cart.
What? Lolly the Worm.
Oh my goodness, how much are these? Y'all, this is me literally sitting down going through each book trying to figure out which one I was going to take home with me. I always do this. I pick a bunch of books that I find interesting or that I think would be appealing for me. I flip through them, read the synopsis, maybe read like the first few pages or even the first chapter and decide if I'm going to take it home. But then I remember that it was my birthday month, so I think I'm going to get all of these books. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. But to my defense, 2 of them are used. $4 and $8, so can't beat it. The other 2 are paperback, and like the old paperback prices, like 15 bucks. Now I do have 2 hardback books, and they are each $30. So, but it's my birthday, you know, and I'm going to get them.
After you?
The book tavern owes us nothing. The book tavern owes us nothing. Walk slowly so you don't slip.
9, 8, 7,
Now we're headed to get
4,
something to eat. Hopefully something good. Hey. Whew, y'all. For y'all, it's the next day. The viewers, you people watching, it's the next day. I am about to wrap up the end of Getting to Happy by Terry McMillan. I wanted to give my thoughts on at least one book in this video. Listen, the way I read books, I read multiple books at one time. Right now, I feel like I'm reading like 3 or 4. I think I started off reading with you all Flames of Wrath on Beyonce. And I did get a little bit into this book. Like I read some more since the last time I talked to you. And I don't want to discuss it until I finish the book, and then I can just give like my final thoughts. But I figured since I'm literally just now sitting down to read the last of this, that I could give you my final thoughts on this book once I complete it. I need to clean up our mess. We just finished up with school and I need to clean this up. I also just finished making a reel for Bookstagram, for Instagram, with these 3 books. Y'all know Beyonce's. If you're a Beyonce stan, which I truly hope that you are, like I hope you're not depriving yourself of Queen Bee. But if you're a Beyonce fan, then you know in the Super Bowl, she did her thing. Miss Thing did her thing. So we've all been jamming to country music, and it's now time for these books to shine. I don't know when I'm going to get to them, but now as Beyonce is ushering us, see what I did there? Beyonce, usher, Super Bowl. As Beyonce is ushering us into this country era, I'll be in my cowboy era. And I really want to get into this series. It's called the Cowboys of California series by Rebecca Witherspoon. There's 3 books in this series. I believe the first one is A Cowboy to Remember. I think this is the first one. I hate these covers, I have to be honest with you. Something about real people, like real human beings on the front of romance novels just gives me the ick. I don't like it. Next, I believe, is If the Boot Fits. It's like, what if you run into him one day? Like, what if I meet this man on the street and it's so awkward to know that I read a book with you on the cover of it? And I'm not picturing these people as the main characters. Like, I'm still coming up with characters of my own in my head. So, like, that's why I prefer for my romances to have, like, those, I guess, illustrated or cartoon versions. I understand that's not everyone's zhuzh, but it's mine, because I don't want you to tell me what the character looks like. I want to come up with how they look in my head. Anyway, I believe the last one is A Thorn in the Saddle. I could have just given you this series out of order. Like I said, I'm not sure. I always check Goodreads before I start a series to make sure I'm reading the first one. And the number isn't on the book that I can see. Anyway, I'll be reading these at some point. I don't know when I'm going to squeeze them in, but I definitely want to get into this series, you know, in my Beyonce vibes. And that is how I start reading multiple books and how I can end up reading 6 books at one time, because I'll get into the mood to start something and I'll start it. And then I look up and I'm reading 6 books, which is how I found myself in this predicament. So I'm going to finish this book because we need to finish one. And then I will give you all my final thoughts on this book, because I want to at least give one book review in every like vlog video. So we're going to go ahead and try and finish this, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts. Sorry if you can hear my kids, but we live here. The end. I don't know if I'm gonna give this book a star rating. I feel like I can't give this book a star rating, but I will say this little piece, this little curly piece, it's working my nerves. I don't know how I feel about this book. There were some great parts. Okay, let me start off with the good. Let's start off with the positive. So I will say Terry McMillan does an amazing job at presenting real life things that actually happen to everyday people in a way that is relatable. So in this book, it has fast forward 15 years. We still have all the same characters, Byrne, Savannah, Gloria, and Robin. We still have all of the 4 ladies, and they're just 15 years older. So they're like in their 50s. Some have children. Some of their children are like adults now. It's, you know, it's a vibe. It's 15 years later. But what I really enjoyed about this book is seeing life for them at that age. I feel like a lot of books that I read, the main characters are usually like 20 something, 30 something, possibly 40 something. But the way that they discussed like menopause and like what that is like for them each individually, honestly, and like some of the symptoms that you have to go through with that, I really appreciated that. I feel like you don't get that a lot in fiction, and I really appreciated how she mentioned that in there. And then of course they're all going through their own troubles, and I really appreciated how like the vulnerability of them and their inner thoughts. It's the inner monologues for me that I love about Terry McMillan. Like being in these women's heads. Number one, is funny. Her dialogue is hilarious, but it's also very real. I despise self-help books, but I feel like if you read a Terry McMillan book, you will walk away feeling like you low-key had a therapy session, okay? No matter what age or stage you're in, whether you can take something for now or take something to stick in your pocket for later. I feel like I took a lot of gems from this book to save for later. Really enjoyed it. Things that I maybe disliked, I would say, and this is just not even like the writing style or like anything that has to do with like the writing of the book. I just didn't enjoy where she went with one of the characters. I was like, why? Like, why did we have to go that way with this character? If you had to have this in your book, or in this book, if you had to have one of these ladies go through this, maybe pick a different character to go through it. But it just broke my heart. And it was just like a personal opinion thing that I didn't like. I just did not believe that this same character from the last book would grow into this. Granted, by the end of the book, the character development was amazing for all of the ladies, but it's just like, I never saw that for her. I never saw this situation. I'm just like, man, this ain't the same. That ain't the same lady. That ain't the same lady that set her husband's car on fire. That ain't the same lady, okay? You can't tell me that it is. But I'm glad I finished this book. I can take that off of my currently reading on Goodreads. I'm now about to clean up our little homeschool space because it is in shambles. We did like Valentine arts and crafts and made our Valentines for like their grandparents and my husband. We made So it's glue, scissors, paper, everything, everywhere. And I need to clean it up. So yeah, I will check in with you guys when I'm doing something else bookish. Connection lost. Woo! Thank you.
You are absolutely gorgeous this morning.
Thank you, thank you. JJ woke me up very early. We're at the Botanical Gardens in Atlanta. I literally am just going with the flow. I don't know where we're going until we show up there, and I've been enjoying it thus far. I've never been to the Botanical Gardens. I've always wanted to go, which this is good because I also want to take our boys, but we'll probably wait till the spring to take them for like a little homeschool field trip.
Of the garden. Think of the garden as a great big oval, okay? There's tunnels and walkways, you can't get lost. Just follow the green signs wherever you want to go.
At the Botanical Gardens in February, which means there's like nothing in bloom right now. It's just a trail that you can walk on. He's a bit disappointed.
And that's me being from the backwoods of Comedy, South Carolina. I should have known better.
Hey guys. Before all of my sunlight completely goes away, I want to give you an update. So we're still in Atlanta, but we are currently getting ready to go to a book signing by Sadiqa Johnson. She's gonna be at a library here in Georgia. Husband got me tickets to go get my book signed. I'm so excited. If you know, then in 2023, my favorite book of the year, my top book was The House of Eve by Sadiqa Johnson. I love that book so much. I also read Yellow Wife by Sadiqa Johnson, and I enjoyed it. Well, that's a lie. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't like enjoyable. There was no joy in that book. But it was a really, really good book. It was historical fiction, so there were some parts in there that just crushed my soul, crushed my spirits. But it was a good book. It was a great book, actually. And I brought both of them. Well, he brought both of them so I can get them signed at this book signing. Are you kidding me? So at the bookstore that we went to earlier today, I forget the name of it already, but at the bookstore that we went to earlier today, they had signed editions of The House of Eve in paperback, because you know that book just came out in paperback. And I was like, are those signed? She was like, yeah, she just came in yesterday to sign them. And I was like, oh, I want to get one that's signed. So I got the paperback copy that's signed. And now I get to go get 2 more books that are signed. It's just like the perfect birthday gift for this bookish nerd. I'm so excited. So I thought I would update you guys to let you know what we're doing, because I'm really bad at vlogging. I'm trying to get better and like tell you guys what we're doing instead of just putting it up on the screen and making it a montage. So we are currently getting ready to go see Miss Sadiqa Johnson. I'm so excited. I'll show you my outfit of the day for this little event. I guess not even of the day, because the day is gone, but you know, just to see Miss Sadiqa Johnson. It's this pink blazer, some jeans, some white and green Nikes, and my Coach bag. Yeah, she's cute. Didn't really know like what we were going to be doing in Atlanta, so I tried to just be comfortable, to be quite honest. So the books that I have, Gonna get this one signed. But I really want her to sign Yellow Wife. This was such a powerful book, such a moving book. It was very hard for me to get through. This book is not even big or like thick or long, but it took me a while. It took me a whole month to read this book because I just kept putting it down. Like, it was that type of book. I also have another book by her. I have not read this book yet. It's called And Then There Was Me. So I haven't read this book yet, but because I loved both of her other books that I have read by her, I kind of feel like I'm just like Miss Sadiqa Johnson is a vibe for me. So I'm going to really enjoy that book. And if I can get her to sign it, why wouldn't I, you know? So that's the move. That's what we're going to do. I'm putting on my books in this little book sleeve that I got from Etsy a long time ago. I like to keep my books in there when I'm traveling with them so they don't get damaged. And then on the little front pocket, I put my Kindle so she doesn't get damaged. We can't have Kayonce getting damaged. She's in this pouch here. She just kind of slides in the front, rides shotgun. Yeah, that's the update. That's what we're currently doing. That's what we're currently going. Now that my hands are full, I'm going to slowly back out of the room. Are you ready? Best birthday gift award goes to Jeremiah Rutledge. Is there anything that anyone you want to thank?
Shout out to you, Papa.
For holding down the fort. This has been a nice child-free birthday. I'm kind of sad because my oldest was like counting down the days to my birthday because he wanted to tell me happy birthday, but I wasn't there when he woke up this morning. So I'm like, is he mad at me that I wasn't there for my birthday? Probably.
He probably like 6. Wow, look at this. If you want a reminder of that you have kids.
Is there a bounty ball in your shoe?
Wow.
Every time I come to the city, I'm always reminded that city life is not for me. And that's no shame for anyone who loves city life. Because when I see like beautiful women living in the city, doing their thing, I'm like, dang, did I miss out? Should I have been a city girl? And then I realize when I get to the city, like I need a backyard and fresh air. And I need to be able to control the smells, you know? We're here. It's a little warm in here, but we came early. I'm excited.
Situated in school, everybody was situated, and I kept thinking, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Well, I had some friends come down to Virginia 9 months later, and someone suggested that we take a walk along the Richmond Slave Trail. And it was on the Richmond Slave Trail that I discovered the story of Mary Lumpkin. And Mary Lumpkin was an enslaved woman. She was married to a white man, her jailer, her owner. She had 5 children with him. The Devil's Half Acre where they lived was notorious. It was a punishing center and holding site for enslaved people. It had such a reputation that if a nearby planter wanted to make an example of their enslaved person, they would send them to the Devil's Half Acre. And the plaque said that the owner, Robert Lumpkins, was one way in business, but he was kind and he was considerate to Mary Lumpkin and their children. And I thought, something is missing from this story, right? I thought women like Mary Lumpkin didn't have agency over their lives. So what are the missing pieces? What did she tell her children? What was life like for them growing up in this space where families were separated and people were flogged? What was that story? And it was almost as if the ancestors latched into my skin because they literally followed me home. And I just couldn't stop thinking about the story. I couldn't stop researching it. And I remember thinking, this is not a book I want to write, but this is a book I want to read. And when I had a friend come over to the house, she asked me, she said, so what's holding you up from telling this story? And I said, well, I'm afraid. And she said, the thing that scares you most is what you're supposed to be doing next. And that opened the door for me to start writing historical fiction, and Yellow Wife was my first book. I was very clear that Yellow Wife was the best that I had to offer. And the question that just kept plaguing me was how do you better your best. So at first I was a little afraid. I thought, well, maybe I won't write any more historical fiction. I had these teenagers at home, so I thought maybe I'll write some young adult books, right? I'll be like Jason Reynolds. And, you know, it really wouldn't materialize. I think that was not the plan for me. But I did have that one character that sort of I was thinking about her in the scope of writing these YA books, but she just kept coming. She just kept coming. And I knew that she was young. I knew that she was 15. I knew she was very smart. I knew she had a body shaped like a Coca-Cola bottle, right? You guys know, like those Coca-Cola bottles, right? But I also knew that she had a mother that wished she had never been born. So Ruby, as I mentioned, she was young, and you know, when she came to me, I could feel her. I felt like she was in my family. I felt like I knew who she was. I felt like I understood her story, and she came first. So I was very close to her. I wrote Ruby in first person because I wanted you to walk through the story almost as if you were walking side by side with her.
Really interesting to hear how her characters came to her.
Yep.
I was like, and I'm mad that someone took my question, because I was like, Aunt Marie was probably one of my favorite characters, and I'm like, how did Aunt Marie come to you? Because she was such like a bold lady. So it was interesting to hear. I'm waiting in line to get my book signed.
I'm good, how are you? Is this all for you, Kayla? Okay. Just want to make sure I spell your name right. Yes, because I went by.
What's the name of that bookstore?
44.
Yeah, I went there yesterday. So I went to pick her up and I stopped in the bookstore and then I signed her copy. Happy birthday!
He's surprised. You're going to go out here, go last. I'm also married. So he was like, I will go last. We'll go to the bank and then street and so when I went to that bookstore, I was like, oh, if I want to get your paperback, she was like, oh, you can sign them. So I was like, oh, good. And then he said, oh, we're going to press signing.
Aw, that was so kind of you.
I was like, well, I'll get you too.
Well, good birthday gift.
I know. Put that there.
Awesome. Are you a Bookstagrammer or just a book lover? Okay. Yeah. Copies are spice of life. Nice to meet you, Kayla. Absolutely.
All right, y'all, we are back from meeting Miss Sadiqa Johnson. I had so much fun. This was my first Bookish event. One of my Bookish goals was to go to more Bookish things. This was my first one, and I enjoyed it so much. Sadiqa Johnson is so beautiful. Like on the inside, you can just kind of tell like she radiates beauty, but she's also beautiful on the outside. She was so gracious. You guys already know The House of Eve was my favorite book anyway, right? If I had met Sadiqa Johnson and she was like a horrible person, this would still be my favorite book of 2023. But because I met Sadiqa Johnson and she was so beautiful and so gracious, it's like this is like, it has increased, made it even better, you know? I got The Yellow Wife signed, and I also got, and then there was me, and she was telling me about, I told her I wanted to like, you know, go through her backlist, and she was telling me about the other 2 books that I need to get and where I can get them. And she wrote little personal notes on each of the books that she signed for me. On this one, she wrote happy birthday. I love it. It's all possible. And she put her signature. She put like little personal notes on each book that she signed for me, which was so sweet. I literally cried. Not in front of her, but I cried when I got in the car and read like the notes in there. It was a whole thing, but I loved it. It was such an amazing event. The person who moderated the event was asking really good questions, and it gave me so much insight that I already, you know, I've read this book twice already, but hearing her answer some of the questions that were being asked, and then like the crowd got to ask questions as well. So that was really nice, and it just made me want to reread this book, honestly. So I'm probably going to do a reread of this book. She actually also discussed her next book that she's going to be coming out with. It's not at all related to The House of Eve or Yellow Wife. You know, there was like a small little Easter egg in The House of Eve. If you read this book, then you notice a small Easter egg in this one. But she did mention her next book, and she did say there may be like a glimpse. She wouldn't really give us details, but she was like, there may be a glimpse of like another Easter egg, you know, where there's like a small connection, but it's not going to be a continuation. I really wanted her to continue Ruby's story, but she's not going to. She doesn't write sequels, so we won't be getting any of that, but that's okay. It's okay. Her next book will also be in historical fiction, and you know that's kind of my zhuzh, so I'm sure I'll love it regardless. I wonder if they'll stay on theme, because if you notice, the Yellow Wife, the cover is a woman, but you can't see her face, and the same for the House of Eve, just different time periods. With the topic of the next book, I don't think it would actually fall in line, but maybe it will. I don't know. I guess we'll see, but I'll be getting that too. She said it's a bit off. It's a bit far off, so it's not like coming this year or anything. But that was just so awesome. Hopefully I was able to insert some clips where she discussed some of her writing process. I thought it was amazing how she talked about like how her characters came to her, and how like almost like they were like a spirit, almost like how a spirit came to her and told her what she needed to write about these characters and who they needed to be. And like, I thought that was awesome. One of my questions that I really wanted answered was how Aunt Marie came to her, like the character in the House of Eve, how she developed that character. That was one of my favorite characters, and obviously it was a fan favorite because quite a few ladies in the crowd had that same question, and I really enjoyed her answer to that about how she came to her and how she was like such a pivotal person in this book. But yeah, I'm going to end the vlog here, y'all, because I feel like I have been taking y'all on this bookish journey for a few days now, and you're probably tired of seeing my face. So we'll end the vlog here. We'll end the week here on a high note on my birthday. This was the best birthday I think I've ever had, because it was everything that I wanted. It was very much me. Sometimes when people plan your birthdays, they do things that they think you would like instead of things that you actually like. This birthday was very chill. It was child free. It was just me and my husband eating good food, walking around outside, visiting bookstores, doing bookish activities, and just vibing. And that is literally all I need in life. All I need in life to be happy. This was probably my best birthday that I've ever had. I got books signed, some of my favorite books signed, but probably one of my new favorite authors. So yeah, it was a great day. Thank you so much if you made it into today's video. I really, really appreciate it, and I will see y'all in my next one.